So in America, how many times or how many people get happy birthday sung to them in North America and Canada per day who are actually turning 65? Do you know?
10,000.
10,000 of us. Right. So do we want to teach kids? Lots of energy. Do we want to teach the yuppies? That's lots of strength and the bulk of our classes. But where is the largest growing population of wellness in America right now and in Canada?
The active aging, which are people 50 years old and older.
Right, and we used to use the S word and call you what?
A senior.
Yeah, tell us, what do you think about that?
Well, senior makes me think I'm on Social Security, and I would prefer to think of myself in a younger kind of frame of mind. So I like chronologically enriched.
A chronologically enriched active aging exerciser. Wonderful. Granted, not everyone over 60, it becomes active aging. Some are sedentary and dependent, and we call those sedentary and dependent. And some are sort of elite, like Super Granny on the gymnast bars, and we call those Super Granny and elite. But you are, in my book, elite. However, for general intents and purposes of the BOSU training that we've created, the new manual and the certification and how to incorporate the half blue ball with people over 50, 60, 70, and 80, we call you sort of I, the independent group who wants to improve the overall qualities of life. And we call that ADLs. What are ADLs?
The activities of daily life.
Right. When we have the activities of daily life with the BOSU Balance Trainer, you become more confident in everything we do. And we study what you do. That's called senescence. What do we mean by that?
Well, senescence is the science or the study of the aging. And that's a very big field today because just of what you said, people are turning at 65 years of age, 10,000 a day.
Now you've reversed diabetes, but also you're back to the dermatologist. Share our friends why.
Very funny story, Lawrence. I found myself with this little cyst on my face after doing all these movements and working with the BOSU and losing the weight. And I didn't like it, and I said, I'm going to the dermatologist. I can't seem to get rid of this. So I went to the dermatologist, he looked, and he said, I started laughing, and he said, you have acne. And I said, really? And so that, aside from reversing the diabetes, getting acne was like a bonus.
Which is showing that we can go back in time at a biomechanical or biomolecular level of the blood. And what kind of age is that?
The biological age.
Biological age is one of 5 types of aging. Can we reverse it? Absolutely, you did. You're on acne medication and your blood work is better. You've reversed diabetes. It seems to me that your lungs, stop smoking, your blood work, reversed diabetes, and your face, you're back on acne medication from teens. Very expensive and it's great and I use some of it. Not that I have acne, but I love the way it hydrates. Just saying. Number 3, ways to reverse that type of age. Okay, biological age. What's another type of age?
The functional age.
What does that mean?
Well, functional age is what we are able to do on a daily basis in our life.
Like bend and reach.
Like
so let's
bend
show our
and
friends how
reach.
you stand behind the BOSU Balance Trainer. You squat down. Squat. How many fingers am I holding?
2.
That's how we know it's a squat. Now hinge forward and then reach one hand to the end of the BOSU Balance Trainer and then reach it over to the handle and lift it up. That's called a bend and reach. Just tilt it and try the other side. Notice how she's nice and extended to the other side. Hands back on the knees. Unhinge, back to the squat, and then stand up. That's a great example of how functional age. You need to be able to bend over and do some things. What's another type of our age?
Social age.
What does that mean?
That means, how do we get along with people? How do we interact? Do we want to interact? Are we, on the reverse side, are we depressed? Are we act like recluses? All of those things depend on how good you perform socially.
Right.
There are also cultural restrictions.
Right. So when I met you, you couldn't bend over and bend and reach. So that was an example of functional age, something you couldn't do. Did we reverse it?
Yes,
absolutely.
we did.
So now with social age, what did we do together as a team to help train social age?
We did partner work.
Right.
And in that partner work, we had to talk to somebody else. We had to interact.
Now let's give our friends watching an example of social age, right? Using the BOSU Balance Trainer and me in front of you, you start to march with your hands out to the side. You're aware that I'm here for safety and support, but she'll never rely on me that way. She doesn't need to now. And when you feel comfortable, go up for a bit. And when you feel comfortable, go down for a bit. Notice how she chooses the leg, she chooses how long she's going to stay there, and sometimes she chooses to come up for a couple marches, and sometimes she chooses to come up for half a minute, and sometimes she comes up and stays between those two extremes. Now after this last one, I'm going to hold you on the floor, and I'm going to say, now let's progress it to react to me after a few weeks. And how did we progress that? Right foot up. Right foot down. Left foot up. Look at that concentration. Left foot down. Left foot up. Watch this. Left foot up. And left foot down. Reacting and spending lots of social age time on improving her total reaction. So Bernadette, the good news is we've talked about 3 types of aging. Let's review those, give them the last 2, and then talk about the new name for this program. Not BOSU, Mobility and Stability for Active Aging, but what we are now going to call it. For example, number 1, when we change your blood, that's what age?
Biological age.
Number 2?
Functional age.
And we reverse that because you could start to bend over and lift your things for yourself now. Number 3?
Social age.
How you react to, accommodate, and assimilate your body in space and time with other people. What's number 4? What happens above the shoulders?
The psychological age.
And how do we train that?
We train that by a process called neuroplasticity.
Can you define that for our friends?
Yes, neuroplasticity is when we train the brain and the body at the same time in all of their functions, including memory and reaction.
So have we made you better at reacting and at your short-term memory and long-term memory and problem solving?
Yes, we have.
For example?
Well, I can remember phone numbers inside out, backwards, and add them up. That's one way.
And we do that all the time during movements of squats and lunges. Now, the 5th type of age, which is the bad news, is?
The chronological age.
What does that mean?
That means how old you are from the time of birth until the present day with 365-day cycles.
That's it. Now, we can't reverse that. But the first 4 types of aging, we now know that we can train and reverse. So we're now going to call this Betty's anti-aging program, because you use the BOSU balance trainer, you work with other people, you work for yourself, you've changed your blood, you've worked your mind and the body simultaneously, functionally more self-efficacious. That's pretty amazing. All those ages trained with 1/2 of a ball. Thank you, Super Betty.
Thank you.